Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Thursday, October 3rd, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. The largest solar flare of cycle 25 kicked off at around 6 a.m. Mountain Time this morning. An X9.0 solar flare from active region 3842 has sent a coronal mass ejection our way. And the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is off the charts. We could have a spectacular Aurora display all weekend. Keep calm. It's boom time. Hurricane Helene death toll passes 210 and is the second most destructive storm in half a century. More than half of the deaths were in flood-ravaged North Carolina as the death toll continues to rise today, which is experiencing an unprecedented disaster described by some as post-apocalyptic. Holy macaroni. Here we can see a damaged car sits under a destroyed shed after some of that flooding. And the search for missing people continues, and it's going to take some time as that death toll rises. The hurricane that made landfall as a Cat 4 last week is described as one of the deadliest storms in U.S. history. Well, right now the death toll puts it at around 17 or 18th, but the death toll is rising. Here is the bad news. Hurricane Helene exposes FEMA assistance gap in Appalachian areas. It's embarrassing. They've offered $750 to these people, and that is the cap. I don't know what that's going to cover. Certainly not any of the cleanup in this home. Now, Florida should brace for a soggy week. It's looking quite bleak, and we'll get to the forecast there. They could see another 12 to 20 inches of rain in some areas in the next 10 days. The good news is that there is no tropical storm or hurricane that's going to hit. The bad news is that we know what happens when 20 inches of rain falls. And red flag warnings have been issued for Oregon Cascades amid dry and windy conditions. Here is the current position of all the wildfires in the U.S. on the fire and smoke map, and you can see, well, the smoke is limited to the Great Lakes region in the center of the U.S. with some heavy pockets here coming from a blaze on the Montana-Wyoming border. And here's the full forecast. Strong storm approaching Alaska. Record heat for portions of the West as we watch the tropics. Increasing dangerous surf, strong winds, and heavy precipitation will affect southern portions of Alaska and Aleutian over the next few days. A strong system will move ashore across the Pacific Northwest with winds and increasing fire weather concerns for the Great Basin and Northern Rockies. Extreme heat lingers in the Southwest and parts of Cali, and close monitoring of the Gulf for some heavy rain. We'll get to the models in a minute. Take a look at the frost and freeze warnings extending all the way down to the eastern plains of Colorado, portions of Nebraska, Kansas, as well as all of the upper Midwest and the northern plains. It's going to be a chilly one tonight. Bring in those sensitive plants if you don't want to lose them. Well, how quick a single model run can change things. We are now showing a tropical storm developing into a weak hurricane here on the 11th. This was part of the models coming out the last 3 or 4 runs showing that heavy precipitation across central Florida for days. The rain is going to begin starting now and last for a week. And then we've got the potential here for this tropical storm making landfall in the, looks like Fort Myers area on this run. This is bad news for those in the north in the already hard-hit Tampa region and up through Clearwater and then the Big Bend. The good news, it's going to be south of there on this model, but not before rain up north already saturates Florida. A quick look at the total accumulated precipitation shows that potentially deadly flooding event occurring through October 12th. That is the next 10 days. So we're going to keep a close eye on these models, as that amount of rain in an already saturated Florida would be even more devastating. A quick look at total snowfall says we have a potential to see some amazing snowfall hitting eastern as well as western Canada through the next 2 weeks. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore says it doesn't snow anymore. Our kids they don't know what snow is. Seismic update. Quite a bit of rumblers around the world, especially on mid-ocean ridges. Maybe the Earth is expanding. 4.6 in Svalbard, and we've got a 5.0 on the Atlantic mid-ocean ridge, as well as a cacophony of events in the Aleutians near Adak. That's a volcano, folks. The activity on the West Coast has cooled down in just one quake today, 2.6 near Pinnacles. But overall, normal activity worldwide as we transition over to worldwide volcano news. Manam, the first on the list for October 3rd, 9,000-foot blast today, 10,000-foot Libutobi, Ibu to 8. Fuego, 15,000-foot puff, Sabancaya on the list. Ibu to 8, Fuego to 15. Reventador to 16,000-foot. Sabancaya puffing and passing. Swanosima, 7,000-foot. Yeah, we just said that. Semadu, who knew? Now you do. 14,000-foot blast today. Sangay puffing to 19,000. And that wraps up worldwide volcano news for the day. Hey. Aurora alert. Possible geomagnetic storm could spark northern lights as far south as Illinois and Oregon tonight, and maybe even further tomorrow. A G1 to G3, in my opinion, we could get up much higher than that, but we'll talk about all that in a few seconds, is predicted for October 3rd to October 5th, and that means low-latitude aurora from the X9.0 solar flare emanating from active region 3842 earlier today. This is, in fact, the largest solar flare of cycle 25. Still not even coming close to solar cycle 24, and Lee and I will get into all those details tomorrow or Saturday on the radio show. So make sure to tune in Saturday during the peak of the geomagnetic storm to find out more about what's going on. And hopefully the internet holds up. Here is NOAA's predicted 3-day and just updated geomagnetic storm forecast showing a geomagnetic storm to start in the next 12 hours from the X7.1 solar flare 2 days ago and to reverberate through the X9 solar flare October 5th into the 6th. So a 3-day geomagnetic storm event, similar to the superstorm we had in May, only albeit weaker. But based on the weakened magnetosphere, this second pulse, I think, could get up to G4 or even higher, based on where the first pulse and how dense the plasma is and meets us. But it's true, we will have aurora all over Canada and maybe to low latitudes in the U.S. And the good news is that the sun is almost at new moon. So it's going to be very dark out there. Great for aurora watching. We'll take a quick look at both of the solar wind models. This is ISWA, and this is showing that X9 flare. Not as significant as I've seen other flares, but still directly facing Earth and hitting us square in the head. And that's because, well, I'll show you why. It was very impulsive. Take a look at how steep this angle is. It was a very short-lived X flare. It did hang on in the M range for up to 6 hours, but the impulsive nature of it makes limited plasma available to head our way. So there is the ISWA model, and the WSA Enlil spiral was updated earlier today, where you can see that X7 out front, and then the X9 behind with some really dark black plasma here, and obviously that quick spike. Now, depending on how thick and dense that plasma is, remember, this is just a model, folks. So I think it's the second phase that's going to be the big bump on the geomagnetic storm. So buckle up and look up. The mysterious engravings of the Fugop cave in Hokkaido, one of only 2 sites in Japan with ancient petroglyphs. And some of them resemble, well, you guessed it, Squatter Man. And it's this is a fascinating article, so please take the time to go down there, click the link, and read it. Located in the small fishing town of Yoichi on the Japanese island of Hokkaido is the Fugopo Cave, an archaeological site that contains over 800 petroglyphs carved into the walls, making it a unique location in all of Japan. The discovery of the cave dates back to the 1950s. I'm sure there's graffiti there too. But the presence of what appears to be Squatterman or a Thunderbird, well, leaves pause, because these images look just like images all throughout the desert Southwest. I wonder why that could be. It's the sun, not CO2, that drives the Earth's climate, according to a new study. Leah and I will be dissecting this on the Saturday radio show, replayed Saturday night on Magnetic Reversal News on YouTube. And here's the paper: Roles of Earth's albedo variations and top of the atmosphere energy imbalance and recent warming. New insights from satellite and surface observation show a direct correlation between temperature and the sun. How fun. Bad news. The feds say there is no money left to respond to hurricanes. Wait a minute. We could send billions upon billions to Ukraine and Israel and here and there, but we have no money left for hurricanes? Are you picking up what we're putting down? They want you dead. The good news is Dockworkers' strike has been suspended. I was hoping it would last for at least a month to the election, so it would guarantee a Donald Trump win. But maybe, just maybe, this solar storm will be cover for an EMP and the sparking of World War III. We'll never know until the time comes. But if the internet holds up, our affiliate, the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, has restocked some of its coffers. And you can still get all seeds, heirloom, native, open, pollinated, for just $1 a pack. I've never heard of such a thing. They've got glass gem, ancient corn, Cherokee Trail of Tears black beans. This is a very sought after heirloom, just $1 per pack. It's insane. Only 8 left on the pepper seeds of the purple Beauty Bell. And they do have a huge selection of herbs, including dwarf moringa, sweet Thai, large leaf basil, one of my favorite purple ruffles there, and clover, and some flower seeds available still on the site. So if you like to prepare for the future and get the best seeds on earth, go grab some now. Support the channel and support your preparedness. And support the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. We just hit 11,000 followers on Twitter. So thank you all for following us over there at Diamond the Dave. We love each and every one of you. Be safe. And that's a boom.